We're back with William Shatner. Autobiography, up until now, is on bookshelves in bookstores everywhere. Great book.
On bookshelves for a brief moment, and then off the bookshelves.
And then off the bookshelves. And hopefully you'll be reading it on your pillow at bedtime.
It's a very funny and touching book, and it's getting great reviews, and I hope your audience will take a look at it.
Can you, and I want to go here in any direction you're willing to go. I don't even know how to phrase this. Your third wife passed away, and I remember the press just tried to turn this into something horrific, just horrific. I can't even imagine what that was like for you to have to deal with both sides of that.
Exactly, with both at the same time. The irony was that Noreen and I loved each other. There were elements of fantasy there, that she was this most beautiful, wonderful, humorous, loving, passionate lady that I loved desperately. And she had a drinking problem. And as a result, when nobody was at home and there was help all around, except for a 2-hour period, I was 50 miles away having dinner with my daughter, and we surmised that she fell. She had a high alcoholic content in her blood, and fell, hit her head, and was drowned in the pool. I wasn't anywhere there. And the irony that for a brief while, because, and understandably, the closest relative of something, when somebody dies accidentally, closest relative, right, if there's any suspicion, the police immediately said it was an accident, and it was always an accident. I always thought it was an accident. But the press, for a brief while, tried to do something sensational. In fact, the National Enquirer was going to run a story in that direction, and I thought, I was in shock from the death, and I thought, maybe if I talk to them and tell them what had transpired. So I got a price from them, got money from them to tell the story, to stop their story and to tell, so that the story that of what transpired was made out. So I got money from them, which went into the fund, started the fund, the Noreen Shatner Foundation for Addicted Women, which continues on. There's a home that takes care of 20 to 22 women stay there at one time. Several graduates of that rehabilitation program have come to me from time to time and said that I saved their life, but it wasn't me, it was Noreen's memory. So Noreen's life continues in this the Noreen Shatner Foundation, which, by the way, on www.shatner.com or shatnervision.com, you can get more information about that. So that quelled all the supposing, and then people began to understand that a horrible accident had taken place.
Did you, for a long time, you didn't know that she had an alcohol problem?
When I first met her, and ironically, I met her in a bar in Toronto. I was up there doing something professional. I think I was directing a film, and there was a local bar in the hotel where everybody stays in Toronto. And I was there with some friends, and I saw this beautiful girl, and I was single, and she looked at me, and I looked at her. It took about a week, and we sort of, basically, make a long story short, stayed in each other's company for 7 years, and then got married. And during that time, I knew that she drank, and it offended me that she would sometimes drink to excess, but I never saw it as alcoholism.
Right.
My dear friend, Leonard Nimoy, who is himself a recovering alcoholic, began to educate me about what it was, and as I became aware that Noreen was having a problem, he took her under his wing, as he had so many other people, in terms of trying to get her help. So we went to rehabilitation homes, we went to AA, and we went all those things. I joined Al-Anon, and I realized I don't want to learn how to live with alcohol. I want my wife to become whole.
Right.
And I was thinking that by loving enough, I'd seen it work in animals, dogs and horses and kids. You put your arms around them and you love them. Everything, magical things happen.
Doesn't work.
You know better than I, but I know a little, that addiction isn't that. Addiction is also physical. It's also DNA. It's psychological. There's the mix of what addiction is so profound that people who are not addicted really have no idea. And one more comment to further that along. The pain that I felt in Noreen's passing gave me an insight into the pain that she must have felt every day living. That the only surcease from that pain was her, and she termed it that way, as I've heard so often before and since, her best friend, the bottle, gave her surcease. And I thought, my God, if I could drink, I would get drunk now, just to relieve myself of the months that went by as I felt that grief.
Final moments with William Shatner in just a minute.